A cause for causality. I just thought it was a nice play on words. Actually, it has to do with ongoing frustration of having to use multiple tools just to get one job done. So, Gian Weck wrote this marvelous article in Medium about systems thinking. What's it all about? And I would suggest you read it because it's really good. And there's a link to it in the musing. And getting down through the article, he uses this model that he's developed for adequate housing in East African country. And I thought it was a really interesting model and would be really good to do a demonstration of storytelling, though the model was done in Vensim. So I spent about a couple hours and I migrated it to Kumu with a lot of squinting because it's hard to read it. I don't happen to have a full copy of Vensim, and it didn't open well in Vensim PLE. So I started here and I squinted a lot, and I think that I got all of the relationships put together right. And as I'm looking at it as part of the Kumu model that I have, template that I have developed, there's a feature called Showcase, which if I identify loops in the model and I sequence them so that Kumu knows how to sort them alphabetically, it will create dots for me along the bottom down here so that I could just go like this and actually unfold this model piece by piece by piece. Now, the difficulty is that the balancing and reinforcing loops are sequenced independently so that the first one is 01B and the next one is 01R and then 02B and 02R. And that's not appropriate for telling any meaningful story with this model. And there are a number of loops that are not defined. And if you've ever tried searching for loops in a hairball like this, it's enough to drive you to drink. Well, that and a lot of other things could drive you to drink. So I spent about 45 minutes because I already was familiar with the model. It only took me 45 minutes to implement this in Cauzality. Now, the nice thing about Cauzality is that when you create a loop, it knows that you created a loop. And it knows, because of the difference between direct and indirect influences, it knows what kind of loop you created. So if you finish putting the model together and go over here and click, it will show you a list of the loops. Now, the depressing piece of information that I found out is there are actually 114 loops in this model. And I don't think I need all of them to tell a meaningful story. So the question is, in terms of the 114 loops, I believe it because I've bounced Cauzality's ability to identify loops against Insight Maker's ability to identify loops. And over a half a dozen models, they both come up with the same answer. So I think the code is right. So I can go ahead and click here and say, oh, okay, this is this loop. And if I click here, it shows me another loop, but that's not the loop that I want. I want a loop that's closer to it. So what am I looking at? No, I don't. That one I do want. So I might go from here to here. So I can change the order of these. The bad thing is that when I change the order, it turns the loops off. And then, well, I really want another loop down here, but I don't know where it is. So let me mouse over this and it says, oh, this element is in loop 7. So if I turn this on, say, oh, okay, I know what that is. So I can move this one up to here. So in terms of using Cauzality, I could figure out the sequence that I want to use to do the loops with, and then I can go reorder them in Kumu because Cauzality resequences the loops as I move them around. And that way, um, I can go ahead and do the voiceover of the unfolding of the story in Kumu piece by piece by piece if I decide to do it here, or I can move it into an actual presentation view and unfold it that way, loop by loop. But um, the idea is Kumu is I mean, Cauzality is really easy to use. It's web-based, multi-user, concurrent multi-user, so that multiple people could build a model at the same time. And in terms of using it to build a model, it probably only takes about 10 minutes to get familiar with the basics, and you're off and running. So I use it in numerous instances when I really want concurrent, real-time, multi-user stuff. So hope you found this. Oh, and so I will do this. I will go through and figure out the loops and go back and put it here and develop a story. And I'll come back with a story in a while, but it's going to be a while because I got to go revise the Kumu storytelling learning module before I do that, because it's next on the list. So hope you found this of some interest, and I'll see you in another musing soon. Bye.